Thank you, Macintosh family, for leading us in the lighting of our Advent candle today. We loved it. Thank you for guiding us. That's right. Let's acknowledge them. So confident and brave. It was beautiful. Thank you. Today, the sermon is entitled Playing the Villain. And if you can, stay for the Advent Bible study after the fellowship and coffee time. We'll probably, maybe depending on how the weather keeps going, we might keep it to like 30 minutes today. But if you get a chance to stay and even be able to watch the video that we play right at the beginning, it's 10 minutes. And Rachel Billups sets up this whole idea of playing the villain with Herod in such an amazing way and tells some personal stories about how she's wrestled theologically with how do we engage with the villains, not only in this Christmas story, but also in our lives. One thing I forgot to research before I came up here today was I wonder how old Herod was when this Christmas story happened, and he made these very strong decisions about taking the lives of all the children in the land. If anybody has their phone and you want to Google it, feel free. You know, there are times in our lives that we're more impulsive than others, or maybe we're seeking more power than others. Maybe there's times when we feel out of control, and so the only thing we know to do is to control other people. You'll get an insight today now into some of the TV programs that I enjoy watching. I think I've told you all I like to get up early before the kids go to school. I have a prayer partner, Dory. She and I, we meet from 5:45 in the morning to 6:15 every morning. And then after that, for about 30 minutes, I get to watch whatever trashy, ridiculous TV show that I want to watch. And I do that in the morning when I'm totally alone, away from the judging comments of Steve. He's like, how do you find these shows? And why is it that this is the what you choose to spend your time on? One of them would be Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So, and he's always like, this is ridiculous. And what could you find from this? However, I've come back with a story for him recently about Kim Kardashian and her, and if you don't know who she is, does anybody not know who Kim Kardashian is? It's a grandpa. Yeah, so I'll tell you, Kim Kardashian, she's in her 30s. She's in her 30s. She lives in California, and she's one of, I think, 7 siblings, and 6 of them are girls and 1's a boy. And they've become very famous because of TV shows that they do where the cameras follow them around. And along the way, they've started opening different businesses. And the majority of the women in the family, and I don't know much about the son, Rob, but the women in the family have become successful business owners, running companies that are worth millions and billions of dollars. And one thing I find and I go back and I tell Steve, hey, guess what? I mean, some of the things are ridiculous, and there's some other things that I find intriguing about them being savvy business owners. And then the other thing that Kim Kardashian has been doing, she's been going to law school because she wants to free incarcerated people that have been unjustly sentenced and convicted of crimes. So part of the show was about her needing to pass the bar and what she was doing. And then there are some clips about how she works with an Innocence Project and how she's been partnering with a gentleman that's been doing that for years. Bless you. And one of the last episodes, a few episodes ago that I was watching, she had an opportunity to meet with a group of men that had spent anywhere from 10 to 30 or 40 years in prison, who were I think these men were convicted. They were convicted of having small portions of drugs. A couple of them were convicted of murder, and some of them were innocent. They've been convicted of these things, and yet they were innocent. And they spent 10, like I said, 10, 15, 20, 30 years in jail until they were released and found innocent. And they were talking to her about how their whole life changed in prison. One, being convicted of something that they weren't convicted of. And then also the second being that they met many different people in jail who had turned their lives around, who'd made different decisions, given their life over to God, made amends, asked for forgiveness. So the second TV show is Ted Lasso. Anybody seen Ted Lasso? I got a couple thumbs up. It's on Apple TV, so it's not always that easily accessible to a bunch of different people. But Steve and I just finished season 3 and did the finale last night. And in season 3, his sidekick, Coach Beard, they're both soccer coaches, and they moved from Wichita, Kansas to England because they won a football, like an American football championship. They go to England because a woman over there that owns a soccer team, a football soccer team in England, she wants to make her ex-husband mad and totally tank the team. So she hires Ted Lasso and his sidekick, Coach Beard. So in season 3, they have a guy that they brought on their coaching team named Nathan. And Nathan got a little arrogant. He's quite talented, and he went off to coach the ex-husband's new football team. And he started to see like how much he missed the camaraderie and the connection of being empowered and being seen and known on Ted Lasso's team as compared to the team that was all about wealth and winning the championship and the ruthlessness. So he ends up quitting, and people invite him to come back to the team. And Coach Beard didn't want him to come back to the team. And Ted said, you really need to go, Nathan's made some mistakes. You need to go and you need to have a conversation with him about yourself. And so there's one scene where Coach Beard comes and sees Nathan, and Coach Beard confesses to Nathan, who's feeling very guilty about how arrogant he was and leaving the team. And he said, I can't come back because I did something so horrible that no one's going to want me. So Coach Beard comes to the door and he says to Nathan, and you don't know anything about this character, so spoiler alert if you're going to end up watching this, but Coach Beard says to Nathan, when I was in my 20s and Ted and I had finished playing college football, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I got into some trouble. And I had a large quantity of methamphetamines on me, and the cops caught me, and I went to prison. Then I got out. No one would hire me. No one believed in me. Everybody thought that, I tanked my whole life. He said, Ted gave me a chance. And he said, I went on a drunken bender and I stole his car. Yeah, isn't it? So, and he said to Nathan, and he got arrested, and he said, the only person that forgave me was Ted. Forgave me, and then we started coaching together, and I turned my life around. So he said to Nathan, it doesn't really matter what you've done or who you think you are or what evil or bad things you think you've done. It can all be forgiven in an instant, just like that. And you and I know the hardest thing to do is to forgive ourselves when we make a bad decision and we make a bad choice. God's already done it. And in that redemption moment, and even in the ones that Kim Kardashian had with the gentleman, it was that moment of letting go and letting God that freed up each of the people to be able to put their past in the past and move forward into a life where making good choices, empowering other people. Rachel Billups writes in this unlikely Advent story, and in the video, if you can stay and see it, she'll talk more about how we play the villain. There are probably multiple times in our life where we are someone's villain. From something that happened at work or a conversation in our family, even situations and committees here at the church, with our children, our parents, our siblings. At some point in time, all of us will play the villain. And it just so happens that Herod gets to be the villain in the Christmas story. It's important for us to remember in the Christmas story that even those difficult parts where we are encountered by evil or we are encountered by someone making bad choices that can affect our lives, that in that Christmas story affected so many lives, that's an integral part. Because through that, it's an even greater opportunity to see, as we wait for the birth of Jesus, that when the light of Christ comes, light shines into the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome. So as we engage with our Christmas story, may we look at situations and relationships where maybe we're the villain. Is there anyone we need to call? Is there a friend that we need to say we're sorry to? Is there something that's still like, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I think of a certain person and I get just a little tingling or a little nervous or anxious, I'm like, I need to call them. Sometimes they don't even know what happened. And I'll call and I'll say, I feel guilty about this. And they're like, I don't even remember what you're talking about. However, that cleansing is for us. It's for us to be free. It's for us to have that light shine into us and know that we did what Jesus was asking us to do. And then that's where the freedom comes. The forgiveness, which leads way to happiness and joy and love. So on the second Sunday of Advent, as we engage with love, let us love ourselves first through our connection with God, and then be able to reconcile ourselves with others, to be able to bring love into those relationships as well. Thanks be to God for all those opportunities that we can start over and be free to love. Amen.